Hello and welcome to another edition of the S24 exclusive series with top people making strides in different fields of endeavors. Today, we'll be unpacking a lot in terms of what's going on in Nigeria and hearing from Barrister Isma'il Ahmed, popularly known as Leader, on the relationship with the former late President Muhammadu Buhari. We'll be starting with that, considering the relationship between Barrister Isma'il and the late former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Welcome to this series, Barrister Isma'il.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Thank you too for coming, despite your busy schedule. Barrister, we'll start with your relationship with the late former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. First of all, we'd like to say our condolences to you, considering the close relationship with the late President. You're welcome, sir. You served closely with former President Muhammadu Buhari over 4 years, or 8 years, let's say, including your time as the APC youth leader and your role as one of the team members of National Social Investment Program. Can you reflect on your relationship with the former president and the way you think that is still shaping the way you look at life generally today?
Well, thank you. Good morning once again. President Muhammadu Buhari is someone I've known since 2002 when he
Over 2 decades.
Yes, when he joined politics, and he was the reason why I joined partisan politics as well. I've always been a political aficionado. I love it. I love it to death. I'm a history buff. I keep tabs on what's going on, since during the military juntas. Towards the twilight years of General Babangida through to the Abacha years and Abdulsalami Abubakar up onto the Obasanjo years. So yeah, in 2002 when the late president joined politics, I was excited, and I was part of a group of very young people, fresh out of college, just trying to see what we can do to be able to get him elected as well, because we believed in him as a result. But he and I became somewhat properly acquainted in 2009, 2010, and we became properly acquainted. That was when he even knew my name, and he could put the name to the face, and he will be able to recall me wherever he sees me and stuff like that. And in 2012, I think in 2010, I was part of the CPC renewal. I was a part of the committee. I was part of CPC. I ran for House of Representatives in Kano, and he supported us all through. And then by 2012, after we lost the 2011
election,
I think that was when he lost his first daughter, I think, and I went to Kaduna to condole him. And that was when he started talking to me about, the fact that the next thing we're going to do is probably going to be a merger, not an alliance that we try to do with P10 between ourselves and the ACN, which was led by President Tinubu at that time. So he was the one that introduced me to President Tinubu, interestingly, yes. And he called the late Simon Diazaya, who was very close to Ashwaju at that time, and told him that, okay, I'm sending some of my boys, very energetic, knew what they were doing. I want you to introduce them to Chief Tinubu. He used to call him Chief Tinubu, and see how that relationship can build. I want them to be part of the new process of the things we're trying to do. So we got to Abuja, of course. As I called Sunday Dari, former Minister of Sports, who was then the Chief of Staff to Ashwaju. Sunday Dari booked an appointment for us in January, I think, of 2013, because this happened between I and the late president in December of 2012. Yeah. And in January of 2013, I went to see Ashwaju for the first time, and then he immediately liked me, and we struck a relationship as well as that. And he was the first person that told me that the merger, as it culminates, they want to do, the party would start with an A.
Okay.
And by February 13, Yeah, no, I think about February 23 or thereabout of 2013, I created the youth wing of the party called the APYF, even before the party was registered.
Wow.
So President Buhari and I shared a very somewhat a special political father and son
Relationship.
And then from 2012, it culminated into something very strong. By 2015, I was at the vanguard, at the forefront of his campaign, of course, as everybody knew. And then the relationship has been fantastic all through. And when he got elected president, a lot of people see me as one of the people who had some sort of an access to him, and I did. Especially during the second term of his administration, I had a lot of access to him. I could push a lot of things for a lot of people. And then when he wanted to make recommendations for people to be in charge of the party, he recommended me as well. So President
A robust relationship.
Buhari and I had a very good relationship, both in politics and in the office.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. Would you say, or can you reflect on the way your partnership and your grief over the recent passing of the late former president shape your ethos now, cognizant of the loss, but also carrying forward the legacy the late president left?
Well, I used to tell him that. I used to tell him even when he was alive, and I said it in my tribute to him after he passed, that he is one of the most privileged Nigerians ever, who had lived on this earth for 82 years. But in those 82 years, he joined the army at 19, went to war at 25, became a governor at 33, became a minister at 34, became a GOC at 38, became a head of state at 41, became a chairman of PTF at 52.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Joined politics at 60, got elected president at 72, finished being president after 8 years at 80, and died exactly 2 years later.
You knew President Buhari very well.
Yeah. So even for a fictional character of success, that is a success. Everything he wanted in this world, God gave him. So I think he lived a very privileged life, and he knew that while he was alive. He knew that the country gave him so much, and God gave him so much, and he wanted to give the country back. Yeah. Now, of course, he's human. He may not be perfect in so many things, but his intention was always clear, and it was always good. And I think for me, it's a legacy that will live on forever, for who he was as a person, his raw decency, his fierce patriotism to this country, his belief that this country can be better, and that it is people that can make it better, and that if each and every one of us put up and do his bit wherever he or she is, then this country will ultimately be better. So I think that would be his legacy. It is his raw decency. There are conversations you can't have around Buhari. No matter how you can't have around him. It's not, he is not only not corrupt, but he's incorruptible. You can't even corrupt him with conversations that would even suggest the idea of pecuniary advantages to him or materialism. So I think for a lot of people that are either close to him or far from him, there are so many lessons to learn from his persona, from his personality, and from the way he conducted himself in and out of office. And I think it's a legacy that people who are close to him should be proud of.
Will you say the public and private persona that late President Muhammadu Buhari embodied is something that is similar? The public, the private as well?
Oh yeah, for the most part, yes. But a lot of things that people didn't know about him, he was extremely humorous. Yeah. He cracks jokes at himself.
It was obvious from some of the interviews.
Yeah, so he is extremely humorous. He likes to laugh at himself and laugh at and crack jokes and listen to them. He's a simple person. He thinks in a simple manner. He doesn't like complications. If he believes I learned a lot from him, thinking that, look, if you cannot break it down simply, which means you don't understand it as well. So he's that kind of person. For him, is how at the end of the day is the common man affected. That's at the bottom line. That's it. You bring all the graphs, all the theoretical jargons and about how this is that, how GDP is going up, how GNP is doing this. At the bottom of the day, you say, okay, so how does the man who is herding his cow or sheep in the Kura local government in Kano, for example, how is he affected by this policy? To him, that is the bottom line. Anything else other than that, it's just theory.
Reflecting on the kind of relationship you shared, and what is that one thing you think people misconstrued the most about the late president?
I think people easily think that he is stern and unapologetically, perhaps even vindictive. People believe that about him. A lot of people think so. But no, he's not. He doesn't take a decision or based on what he feels about you or her personally. No.
And lastly, on late president, what is that one thing that people would miss most about former President Muhammad?
His decency. He brings certain decency to office. His decency, his raw decency, and his ability to overcome. He has been lucky in life to overcome his wants and desires. He overcome materialism so quickly in his life that it doesn't. And you need a leader who, thinking about himself in terms of materialism, comes a distant second to the primary goal of the welfare of the people. I think that would be missed.
That makes me get to another question of follow-up, because it seems we can't exhaust talking about the late former president, and I will just add this one. Over weeks of the former president's passing now, if there is something that really cemented your relationship, what would you say is that one thing that you and the president shared that the public do not know about?
No, I can't say that. I can't say that, but nothing too much. I think he just at times at the very few times that we've had very private times with him, he tells you how he feels about certain things. Of course, that you can't divulge, of course, but he will. You complain to him about certain things, he will tell you, look, this is the way I see these things, but this is why I can't do A, B, C at this point in time. But at the root of it all is the decency of a man who doesn't want to, disrupt. And I give you a simple example. This he said publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And I was one of the people that told him that why shouldn't you should write a book? You have been part of Nigeria's history. You have been at the corridor of Nigeria's history since 1966. And this class of 1960s, you guys have so much in you that you need to be able to document it so that people would read and learn. And this he said in public, that he doesn't want to write a book because he doesn't want to hurt people. I don't think that's a good reason not to write a book. By the way, I think the book should be documented for history.
Sure.
But you see, in that answer, you see a man who is not afraid of documenting history, but who is cautious of it.
Sure.
And that's the decency of the man. And then there are my private times with him that I've shared conversations with him. I've heard a lot of that come across. You see something in the public, you ask him privately, he gives you reasons that you were like, oh, wow, this is a decent man.
No. Thank you so much for sharing that. And once again, my condolences.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.